More than 6 million hybrid vehicles wear a Toyota badge on American roads right now. 6 million drivers who paid a premium, sometimes as much as $10,000 more than a comparable gas-only model, specifically because they trusted Toyota's 30-year promise, buy this car and it will reward your loyalty. That promise is the entire brand. It is the reason the Prius became the best-selling hybrid in history. It is the reason the RAV4 hybrid has a waitlist in half the country. Here is the thing. At some point in 2023 and 2024, Toyota pushed a software update to a wide swath of its hybrid lineup. No press release, no owner notification letter, no pop-up on your infotainment screen asking for your consent. Your car drove into a dealership for a routine service, and it drove out a slightly different machine, and Toyota was counting on you never noticing. And get this, thousands of owners did notice. They noticed their fuel economy numbers quietly sinking. They noticed their EV mode activating less aggressively on cold mornings. They noticed their battery charge gauge behaving differently on the same commute they had been running for 3 years. They went to forums, they pulled OBD2 logs, they compared notes, and what they found should make every hybrid buyer in America furious. Here is what the dealerships will not tell you. This was not a bug fix. This was a deliberate recalibration of the vehicle you purchased, applied without your knowledge, in a direction that primarily benefits Toyota's long-term warranty liability, not your fuel savings. Stay until the end of this video, because what Toyota's own technicians told confronted owners at the service counter is the most infuriating part of this entire story. Segment 1. The Invisible Update. What Toyota actually changed. Let's start with the mechanics of what happened, because Toyota is counting on this being too technical for most people to follow. The update, documented across multiple Toyota technical service bulletins, adjusted the battery state of charge thresholds on the hybrid drive battery. Translation: Toyota quietly narrowed the window in which your hybrid battery is allowed to charge and discharge during normal driving. Before the update, your Prius or RAV4 hybrid battery was calibrated to operate between roughly 30% and 80% of its total capacity during everyday driving cycles. That wide swing is what gives you aggressive regenerative braking, robust EV mode availability, and the fuel economy numbers that Toyota advertised. After the update, that window tightened. The battery charges less deeply and discharges more conservatively. The system runs safer for the battery's long-term cell health, but you pay for that safety in miles per gallon every single day. The real kicker is that Toyota has done this kind of thing before. The BZ4X, Toyota's fully electric SUV, received a throttle restriction update in 2022 following wheel detachment recalls. Owners reported a noticeably softer throttle response with no corresponding improvement notice. Toyota frames these interventions as routine calibration. Bottom line, they are permanent changes to the product you paid for, applied unilaterally and silently. Segment 2. The MPG theft. Real numbers from real owners. Here is where the data gets brutal. On Prius Chat, the largest dedicated Prius owner forum on the internet, with over 400,000 registered members, threads documenting post-update fuel economy drops began appearing in late 2023. Owners running identical commutes in identical weather conditions on the same tank grades were reporting real-world drops of between 4 and 9% in observed miles per gallon. For a fourth-generation Prius rated at 52 miles per gallon combined, a 7% drop translates to roughly 3.5 miles per gallon disappearing from your real-world average. Over 15,000 miles a year, that is roughly 23 additional gallons of fuel. At $4 a gallon, you are losing nearly $92 per year, silently, permanently, because Toyota recalibrated your car without telling you. Multiply that over a 5-year ownership period, and you are approaching $500 that Toyota essentially extracted from your wallet via firmware. And get this, the owners who caught it early went back to the dealer with OBD2 scan data in hand. Several documented their dealer interactions on Reddit's r/Prius and r/RAV4 hybrid communities. The response from service advisors was almost universally the same script. Fuel economy varies with driving conditions, temperature, and tire pressure. In other words, it is your fault. That is the automotive equivalent of a landlord changing your locks and then blaming you for not having the new key. If you are watching this and you own a Toyota hybrid, hit that subscribe button right now. We dig into the stories the automakers pay lobbyists to keep out of mainstream automotive press. You deserve the truth about the car sitting in your driveway. Segment 3. EV mode shrinkage. The feature that quietly disappeared. One of the headline features Toyota uses to sell hybrid vehicles is EV mode, the ability to run the car on battery power alone at low speeds. producing zero tailpipe emissions and burning zero fuel in urban stop-and-go conditions. Toyota's marketing for the RAV4 hybrid specifically highlights this capability. It is a core part of the value proposition. Here is the thing. After the update, EV mode activation thresholds changed. The updated software raises the minimum battery state of charge required before the system will allow pure electric operation. Translation: your hybrid now needs a fuller battery before it will run in EV mode, which means it enters EV mode less often for shorter periods, particularly on cold mornings when battery chemistry naturally limits charge acceptance. The feature is still there. Toyota did not remove it. They just quietly made it harder to reach, in a way that is invisible unless you are watching your energy monitor obsessively. The real kicker is the reasoning Toyota would give if pressed directly. And some owners have pressed directly via certified letters to Toyota Motor North America's Customer Relations Department. The explanation that filtered back through dealer service managers is that the recalibration protects long-term battery health and reduces the risk of capacity degradation claims under Toyota's hybrid battery warranty. Translation: Toyota is protecting Toyota's warranty liability using your daily fuel savings as the currency to pay for it. Segment 4. The dealership wall. What happens when you confront them? Let's talk about what happens when a Toyota hybrid owner actually pushes back at the dealership level, because the pattern here is as revealing as the technical data. Owners who arrived with printed OBD2 data logs, before and after fuel economy screenshots from their car's own trip computer, and specific technical service bulletin numbers describing the update, were met with a 3-stage deflection process that would be impressive if it were not so infuriating. Stage 1. Deny the update exists or claim it was too minor to affect performance. Stage 2. Pivot to environmental variables: weather, ethanol fuel blends, driving style, tire inflation. Stage 3, and this is the one that truly exposes the corporate strategy, offer to reset the vehicle's learned adaptive parameters, which does temporarily restore some pre-update driving feel, creating just enough placebo effect to send the customer home without escalating to Toyota corporate. But here is where it gets truly infuriating. Several owners who escalated directly to Toyota Motor North America via the formal customer experience line were told, in writing in at least 2 documented cases shared on Toyota Nation forums, that software updates are covered under Toyota's ownership agreement and do not constitute a modification to the vehicle's warranted performance specifications. Bottom line, Toyota's own legal framework says they can do this. And unless enough owners organize, file NHTSA complaints, or pursue class action litigation, they will keep doing it. Segment 5. The pattern. This is not the first time. Here is what separates this story from a one-off software glitch and turns it into a systemic corporate behavior worth your attention. Toyota is not the only automaker doing this, but they are the one most insulated from scrutiny because the reliability halo is so powerful that most automotive media refuses to report critically on them. General Motors restricted Chevy Bolt battery charging to 90% of capacity via a mandatory software update following battery fire investigations in EE 2021. That update was disclosed. Owners were notified. The EPA range rating was formally revised downward. Toyota did none of those things. The Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal, which ultimately cost Volkswagen over $33 billion in settlements, followed a similar behavioral logic. The cars performed differently under test conditions than in real-world ownership. The mechanism was different, but the core corporate calculation was identical. We can get away with this unless someone checks. Toyota is betting that hybrid drive system software is complex enough and owner awareness low enough that the checking will never come. And get this, the RAV4 hybrid, the Camry hybrid, and the Highlander hybrid all share the same underlying Toyota hybrid system 2 architecture as the Prius, which means if one receives a battery state of charge recalibration via a technical service bulletin update, the others are candidates for the same treatment. This is not a Prius problem. This is a Toyota hybrid platform problem. Here is our community question for this video. Have you noticed a change in your Toyota hybrid's fuel economy or EV mode behavior in the last 12 to 18 months, particularly after a dealer service visit? Drop your model year, and what you observed in the comments right now. We are building a data set and your experience matters. Segment 6. Can you fight back? What owners can actually do? Let's close the investigation with something actionable, because fury without a roadmap is just noise. Here is what Toyota hybrid owners can do right now in order of impact. First, document everything. Pull your trip computer's historical fuel economy data if your vehicle stores it and screenshot it today. If you have a compatible OBD2 Bluetooth adapter and an app like Torque Pro or Dr. Prius, Log your battery state of charge range during a normal commute. That data is your evidence. Second, file an NHTSA complaint. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's complaint database is the single most important mechanism for triggering federal investigations into undisclosed vehicle modifications. It takes 6 minutes online at nhtsa.gov. If enough owners file, the agency is legally obligated to investigate. Volkswagen's emissions scandal first came to regulatory attention partly through aggregated consumer complaint patterns. Third, find the class action attorneys. As of the time this script was researched, at least 2 plaintiff law firms were actively soliciting Toyota hybrid owners who experienced documented post-update fuel economy reductions. A 2-minute Google search for Toyota hybrid software update class action will surface the current state of litigation. The real kicker is that you pay nothing out of pocket to participate. Class action litigation is contingency fee-based. Here is the bottom line on all of this. Toyota built one of the most valuable brand reputations in automotive history on a single foundational promise, that the vehicle you purchase is the vehicle you own, reliably and completely for the lifetime of the car. The Prius did not become a cultural symbol of rational, forward-thinking transportation because of its styling. It got there because people believed Toyota meant it when they said, "Trust us." What this software update represents, pushed silently, applied without consent, defended through dealer deflection and fine-print legal language, is a quiet renegotiation of that contract. Toyota did not just change some battery parameters. Toyota decided that its warranty exposure was more important than your fuel savings, your EV mode access, and your right to know what is happening inside the car you paid for. That is a betrayal, and calling it anything else is giving them a pass they have not earned. If you own a Toyota hybrid, document your numbers today before your next dealer visit. Request a copy of every technical service bulletin applied to your vehicle at every service appointment going forward. File an NHTSA complaint if you have seen a fuel economy drop you cannot explain. And share this video with every Toyota hybrid owner you know, because the only thing that forces corporate accountability at this scale is an informed ownership base that refuses to be quietly managed. Hit subscribe if you believe car owners deserve the truth, not a firmware patch delivered in the middle of the night. MotorMind will keep checking. We will see you in the next investigation.